Hello, grandchildren. It's Mema for Stories with Mema. So we just got done with having Purim, which is one of the Jewish holidays, and it's the story of Queen Esther. So I thought we would read the story of Queen Esther together. This is a great story in the Bible about Esther, a queen, and how she saved all the Jews. Once upon a time, in a kingdom far, far away, I was an orphan girl who became queen. No, I'm not Cinderella. My name is Esther, and my story is not a fairy tale. I'll start again. Once upon a time, in a kingdom that stretched from India to Ethiopia, I was an orphan girl who never dreamed of being queen. Cousin Mordecai raised me in a small house near the palace. I spent my days digging in my garden, giggling with friends, daydreaming under the olive tree. I had a nice, quiet life. Until the day a royal guard pounded on our door. Oh no, he's probably delivering invitations to one of the kingdom's rowdy parties. I hid in the back room. All pretty young women must come to the palace, the messenger told Cousin Mordecai. The king needs to choose a new queen. I stifled a gasp. The rumors were true. The king had gotten rid of his queen because she disobeyed his orders. He didn't sound like my idea of Prince Charming. I decided I wasn't entering his royal beauty contest. For 3 years, I avoided the patrols rounding up young women throughout the kingdom. But one spring morning, I just had to get out for a walk. I put on my ugliest dress and messed up my hair. Hey there, a guard had spotted me. I bet the king would like to meet a nice girl like you. He hustled me into the royal carriage. The king won't want a poor orphan as a queen, I protested. He'll decide whom he wants. I'm just following orders, he said. A few tears slipped down my cheeks as the carriage pulled away from the market. I trusted Cousin Mordecai, so I took his advice and didn't tell anyone at the palace that I was Jewish. But it felt strange to hide who I was. The guard took me to special chambers crowded with beautiful women from across the kingdom. We were supposed to spend our time getting primped, prettied, and perfumed. I lit my Shabbat candles in secret and whispered Hebrew prayers, hoping the king would pick someone else to be queen. That's what we did last night, is we lit the Shabbat candles because it was Friday night. Each day, one of us was taken to meet the king. While getting ready, she would ask the servants for anything to make herself more beautiful. This scarf brings out the color of my eyes. The king is sure to choose me. A diamond tiara is pretty, but I want to wear the crown. Don't I look lovely in this dress? No doubt I'll be the next queen. My turn came. A servant offered me a silk gown. I'd rather wear my own clothes, I said. An emerald necklace? A fur cape? He asked. No, thank you. How would you like your hair done? It's fine like this. A guard took me to the throne room. The king stared at my plain clothing. I kept my eyes down and refused to smile. I wasn't trying to impress him. I guess that impressed him. My new queen! Cinderella's fairy tale ends when she marries Prince Charming and they live happily ever after. But when I became queen, my story was only beginning. I moved into the fancy royal suite, but I missed my simple home. I even missed the chatter and laughter of the women's chambers. But when I found out the women still waiting there were going to be kept as servants, I gave my first royal order. Let them go. I had to stay in the palace, but I could help others return home. I was lonely in the big, cold palace. I tried making friends with the cook, but she just curtsied and called me, Your Highness. The gardener wouldn't let me get my hands dirty. At least cousin Mordecai came by every day to ask how I was doing. I hardly ever saw the king. He spent all his time with his favorite advisor, Haman, who was a real bully. Haman insisted that everyone bow to him, but cousin Mordecai refused. I watched proudly from the balcony when he told Haman, Jews don't bow to people. You'll be sorry, Haman threatened. There's no room in the kingdom for those who dishonor me. Oh, see, the other people are bowing, but not Mordecai, cousin Mordecai. A few days later, cousin Mordecai came to the palace gates. I've never seen him so upset. What's wrong? I asked. Haman has placed an attack against the Jews throughout the kingdom. We'll all be wiped out, men, women, children. He showed me a letter stamped with the king's seal. I trembled as I read the order. Why would the king agree to something so horrible? Haman bribed him. You must convince the king to stop this attack. Why me? The king got rid of his first queen. What if he gets angry at me too? You can save us, Esther. I believe in you. I wish I could go home and hide, but I knew I had to try. I didn't have a fairy godmother to wave a magic wand and solve my problems. For 3 days, I tried to work up the courage to approach the king. Finally, I tiptoed down the hallway, terrified. I thought about all the people counting on me. You're a queen now, I told myself. Act like one. I stood up straight, took a deep breath, and walked into the throne room. Esther, come in, the king said. I almost fainted with relief. Ask for anything up to half my kingdom. I didn't want half his kingdom, but I couldn't blurt out that his favorite advisor was a scoundrel. I had to act carefully. Will you and Haman join me for dinner tonight? I asked. With pleasure. I brought out the silver platters of stuffed grape leaves and almond pastries. What's on your mind, Esther? Ask me for anything. I wondered what to ask for. That the king make Haman chief of a remote island? Preferably one full of lions and surrounded by sharks? No, getting Haman out of the way wasn't enough. I had to stop his terrible plot. But this didn't feel like the right time to expose Haman as a villain. Will you both come for dinner again tomorrow? I asked instead. The cook has a new recipe for pomegranate pumpkin parfait. That's quite a mouthful. We'd be honored, Haman grinned, at getting another royal invitation. Oh, that Haman. The next evening, when the king asked what I wanted, I spoke from my heart. Save my people. Save me. Save you from whom? This wicked man. He plans to kill all the Jews in your kingdom. I am one of them. The king turned to Haman. You would harm my queen? Haman threw himself at my feet. Please, your highness, I didn't know. The next day, cousin Mordecai came to the palace gate waving a new order with the king's seal. Good news! The king has gotten rid of Haman and his plot has been foiled. I'd outwitted the bully. When I was a girl daydreaming in my garden, I never imagined I would do something like this. This calls for a celebration, I announced. We're still celebrating. Every year, my story is told at Purim parties. It's not a fairy tale, though it starts like one. Once upon a time, an orphan girl became queen, and it has the best ending. We all lived happily ever after. And I will tell you that at this Purim party that Mema went to, Mema dressed up as the king. It was pretty fun. I love you.